Wouldn't one listening to you saying that say, well, I mean, I'm going to give up. I'm just going to accept.
Well, I think that's what people have done already. They've accepted. What I'm trying to do is to say, if you're happy with your life, great, accept. If you don't think it can get any better, great, accept.
So what do you think the ones that are progressive, the progressive youth that are starting businesses, that are employing other youth, and basically do want to plug into the system and help other people, what do you think are the things that they can do on the grassroots level to spread the message and also take these people to another level when it comes to their consciousness and wanting to be part of a greater South Africa?
Those of us who've been fortunate enough to have a real education need to understand that we have an obligation to the other people in South Africa, but only to those people who are willing to be part of it. So if you were lucky enough to get a university degree, go and help others, employ people, mentor people, make sure that people get an education. You know, one of the greatest cardinal sins of South Africa in its road to democracy is we didn't have free university education to people. How is it possible? It took us 20-something years after democracy before we even introduced NSFAS. And even on NSFAS, you have students sleeping in libraries, unable to afford food. How is that possible if we're trying to develop our nation, that we have that? Education is the most fundamental thing. You know, the Jewish community around the world has been relatively successful.
Yeah, of course,
And you know what the secret is?
Of course, we want to know what the Jewish secret is.
Education. Our parents would starve to give us an education. That's what it took. They knew the secret to everything in life was education. No one can ever take it away from you. And it's not just a Jewish thing. I was in the slums of Mumbai. There's a place in Mumbai, 1 square kilometer big, 1 million people, called Dharavi slum. One of the most remarkable places you've ever seen. Alex looks like luxury in comparison
compared to that.
Oh, yes. Spotlessly clean. You know how many police people for 1 million people? 0.
No police.
No police. You know why? Culturally, it is so unacceptable that anyone would steal or commit a crime that it just doesn't happen. 1 million people, no police. Spotless. Everyone looks after their yard, their homes. Absolutely spotless. And at the end of spending a day in Dharavi slum, my guide who took me through, who was turning 21 the next day, says, I'll take you back into the middle of Mumbai. I said, no, don't worry. Like, I feel completely safe in this environment. Drop me at the train station. Just tell me which train to get on and I'll find my own way. So he leaves me at the train station on a platform and I'm standing there by myself. There isn't another white face for probably 10 kilometers anywhere. And 6 big guys wearing leather jackets head straight for me. And I think, I'm going to die. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, they're coming to get me. Someone's going to have to tell my mother where to come get my body. And they walk up to me and they say, who are you and what are you doing here and why are you in the slum and why are you alone? 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
And then they tell me, all 6 of them are finishing off their accounting degrees and studying for MBAs the next year. And they live in the slum. And I say to them, once you've graduated, where will you move to? They say, we don't want to move anywhere else. This is the best place in the world. This is a real community. Everyone knows each other. Everyone cares about each other. Everyone is after the same thing. And even though they came from poverty in the slum, education they knew would give them a much better life. But they didn't want to lose the culture that they actually had as a group of people. And the train arrives and, you know, it's like you see in the images, there are people sitting on the roof, there are people hanging onto the windows, tens of thousands of people on the train. And we walk in and they shout out, there's a foreigner, make room for him. And everyone parts. And I'm sitting on a train with 10,000 Indians. Not a thought in my mind that there's any criminality or any violence or anything. And they get off to go to their lectures a little before I do, and maybe 100 people come to say, do you know where to get off the train? Can we look after you? Can we walk you back to your hotel? How is it possible that in South Africa, people don't feel safe to walk on the streets of South Africa at night? People don't feel safe to live in their homes. The main victims of crime in South Africa are your next door neighbors, are people who live in the townships. Where have we gone wrong? What have we failed to build?
And that's the place where we're supposed to be protecting each other there.
Exactly.
Those are the people that need to be looking after each other.
So
The concept of Ubuntu.
So I want to say, don't tell me about Ubuntu. Practice it. South Africa is a country full of noise. Sometimes you have to listen beneath the noise to hear the music. But it's a country full of noise, and we have to stop talking and rather doing. Let's never mention the word Ubuntu again. Let's only practice it.
The actions.
The actions.